Bonjour and welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Kimberlie Acosta. Many of the stories viewed here can be found at our websites, IndianCountryNews.com or IndianCountryTV.com. Here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The first Native American woman to be elected as a state district judge in the United States, who was also widely beloved for her compassion toward people dealing with domestic abuse cases, has passed away. Carol Jean Vigil passed away March 27th in her sleep at her home in Tesuque Pueblo at the age of 61. Her family said she had suffered from a number of health problems, including diabetes, in recent years. "We made history. It's a dream come true," Vigil had said after she was elected to the New Mexico 1st Judicial District in June 1998. At her swearing-in ceremony, Vigil wore a black robe with beaded Pueblo symbols of mountains, lightnings, clouds, and rain. She was very serious about her work, really concerned about getting it right, said Santa Fe attorney Bryant Rogers, who served as her treasurer in 1998 election. Vigil received her bachelor's and law degrees from the University of New Mexico. Her dedication to making parents pay child support drew the attention of the sheriff, who visited her office one day to inform her that she had put more people in the Santa Fe County Jail than the district attorney, Rogers said. The Fort Peck tribes are seeking permission from the Bureau of Indian Affairs to partner with a Colorado-based investment firm to drill for oil on the reservation in northeastern Montana. The Fort Peck Reservation sits atop an estimated 60 billion barrels of oil. The tribe recently created Fort Peck Energy Company with Native American Resource Partners of Denver. Tribal Councilman Rick Kern says the proposal was being presented to the BIA officials. NARP had proposed investing $100 million on the Fort Peck Reservation. Kern said that the energy project originally sought to drill in the Bacon Formation in eastern Montana and North Dakota, but he says that the price of oil has gone down so much that the Bacon well might not be feasible. He says that the tribe may start with a smaller project. Two tribes asked Texas lawmakers this week to let them reopen casinos they say helped them pay for education, health care, and other essential services. Leaders of the Tiguaha tribe of El Paso and the Alabama Coushatta of Livingston testified before a House subcommittee on the first casino gambling bill to get a public hearing this session. The Speaking Rock Casino employed 800 people while it was open for 9 years beginning in 1993, and it was an economic boost to the El Paso area, Chavez said. She said El Paso area residents continue to gamble, but do it in nearby New Mexico. Her legislation would provide a defense to prosecution for Texas tribal casinos run by Tiguejas and the Alabama Coushatta. The same proposal barely failed in the House in 2007 on a rare tie vote. The state shut down the tribe's casinos in 2002. Only the Kickapoo tribe of Eagle Pass, governed by a different federal law, runs a casino in Texas. The Tulalip tribes are working to create their own identification cards their members could use to cross the Canadian border when the passport requirements take effect June 1st. The tribal policy analyst Teresa Sheldon told the Everett Herald that the Tualips likely won't make the deadline and may need an extension. She says the tribe needs to create a database that can be accessed 24 hours a day by the federal border guards. Jewel James of the Lumi Nation says tribes may create their own passports for members to cross the Canadian border for ceremonies and to visit relatives. After June 1st, anyone re-entering the United States from Mexico or Canada will have to show a passport, not just a driver's license and a birth certificate. A judge ruled last month that a federal ban on the possession of eagle feathers by non-natives is too restrictive. A victory for two Utah men who have fought for a decade to use the feathers as part of their practice of Native American religion. The Salt Lake Tribune reported that the decision could lead the return of feathers to the men, who are not federally recognized tribal members, and open the door of others like them. Andrew Ames, a spokesman for the Department of Justice, said the government is studying the ruling and has not determined the next step. U.S. District Judge Dee Benson said making non-tribal members ineligible to apply for feathers at a national repository and subjecting them to possible criminal prosecution, the way chosen by the government to protect the eagles and Native American culture, puts a burden on the free exercise of religion. The judge also said that the government failed to prove the ban was the least restrictive method possible to achieve those goals, a requirement under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. The act requires that religious practices be accommodated unless a compelling governmental interest can be determined. Samuel Wilgus and Raymond Hardman were convicted on separate cases of possessing eagle feathers without a permit. Wilgus and Hardman claimed their rights and had been violated under the religious clause of the First Amendment, as well as the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, and appealed to the 10th U.S. District Court of Appeals in Denver, Colorado. The entire court eventually heard their cases, which were combined for appeal, and sent the matter back to Utah for a determination on whether possession restrictions violated the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. A missing footstone originally from the burial site of a member of the Wampanoag tribe buried in Lakeville, Massachusetts more than a century ago has been recovered. Police tell the Standard Times of Bedford that the stone, missing for more than 6 months, was found March 27th at a home in town after police received a tip. The homeowner, who was not named, turned over the stone but has not been charged. The incident remains under investigation. The stone was one of 4 discovered by local author Jean Dulé last spring. They mark the graves of Thomas Smith, who died in 1872, and William Smith, who died in 1875. Experts believe that the stones were found a few hundred yards from the original burial site. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We'd like to thank our underwriters and studio technicians for their help broadcast with us on this broadcast. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a grand day.